same way too.
My daughter Jackie was a great influence on me. As a matter of fact, I sort of learned to listen through her ears. And she was, of course, much impressed by the Everly Brothers. I would watch her reaction, not to the point of asking, Jackie, do you like this? But I'd wait for signs. For example, when I came home with Bye Bye Love, she immediately called all her girlfriends to come over and listen to the record.
Wake up, little Susie, wake up. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. We both went down the street. Wake up, little Susie, and weep. The movie so very short, clock and we're in trouble deep. Wake up, little Susie, wake up, little Susie. Well, what are we gonna tell Mama? What are we gonna tell Papa? What are we gonna tell our friends? Ooh la la, wake up, little Susie. Wake up, little Susie. Well, I told her mama that she'd find me. Well, Susie, baby, it's like we could again. Wake up, little Susie. Wake up, little Susie. We gotta go.
As soon as we could afford it, we went and had a suit made. And the first thing we did when we went to New York was try to find, we quit dressing what they call 50 style now, immediately, because, I mean, everybody was wearing it. Your father was wearing it, first of all. The last thing it would look like is your father. We went Ivy League strictly. 3 buttons and button-down collars and little things, and everything had a belt in the back, including your shoes. In those days, there was no youth market, so the clothes weren't, I mean, there was no shop for young people to go buy clothes. There was nobody who had any money if you're young. I remember when the Crickets showed up and they said, where'd you guys get those clothes, you know? And then I've seen a lot of pictures of Buddy, and we'd taken him down to Phil's Men's Shop.
Yeah.
There was a place called Phil's Men's Shop.
Where was that?
In New York City, you know, before we really started getting tailor-made things.
It kind of a way off the beaten track. I mean, you know, it was like somebody had to tell you about it to find it. They had, but even before that, even in Knoxville, Tennessee, we had gone down to more towards the black area. Remember and bought those Mr. B shirts?
Yeah, we wore Mr. B shirts in the 50s.
Mr. B collars and stuff.
Yeah, that whole thing, and then the haircuts, you know.
When did you get your hair done?
Well, Dad and Mom. Dad had gone through barber school, and Mom had gone through beautician school, so they'd cut it. I'll tell you, the hassle over haircuts is just immense.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
All through the airport. See, the first time I walked down Hong Kong, walked through the streets of Hong Kong in the early 60s, before Beatles and anyone. My hair was just maybe a little longer than it is now. Stop traffic. Literally stop traffic. People stop, stare.
I want you to tell me why you walk out on me. I'm so lonesome every day. I want you to know that since you walked out on me, nothing seems to be the same old way. Think about the love that burns within my heart for you. The good times we had before you went away. Oh, me. Walk right back to me this minute. Bring your love to me, don't send it. I'm so lonesome every day. I'm so lonesome every day.
We tried to continually introduce new things. We were the first, I think, in Nashville to have horns on sessions and harpsichords and bringing all kinds of other things into the things and attempting it other sounds other than the same thing every time.
After you have one hit with a group, then it's very exciting because you realize they got so big with that first hit. You know the next one's going to be a hit, so it's very important and interesting what you play on it because you know millions of people are going to hear it, and so they love that.
I remember when Chet came along with the volume control and changed it to tonal control, which is one of the furl, they called it the wah-wah pedal. And then he also had taken a tremolo that really was unknown at that point. It was not, you couldn't buy an amplifier with it in it. And he graciously said, here's for All I Have to Do Is Dream. We were into that. We wanted to experiment.
Dream, 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 dream. Dream, dream, dream when I want you. In my arms when I want you. And all your charms whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream. Dream, dream, dream when I feel blue in the night and I need you to hold me tight whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream. I can make you mine, taste your lips of wine anytime, night or day. Only trouble is, gee whiz, I'm dreaming my life away. I need you so that I could die. I love you so, and that is why whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream. Dream, 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 dream. Dream, 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 dream. Dream, dream, dream. Lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, 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 lollipop.
Boom, 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 boom.
Well, since my head baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Was dirty on the street, that's all you could do.
I believe Elvis Presley is still a kind of a king. If he hadn't have kicked down all the doors, none of us could have gotten through.
Music then was going through a real major change. The orchestras and that era was ending. Records were beginning to rock and roll, and people hated rock. You either hated it or you loved it.
Did you know what it was? Did anyone identify it as rock and roll?
Well, we called it rock and roll. That was only because of
Alan Freed.
Alan Freed. Alan Freed named it rock and roll, and it was the records that were happening, the things we were listening to. Whatever, you know, I called Little Richard rock and roll, but I guess I also called what Buddy Holly was doing was rock and roll. The basic music that I grew up with and lived all my life will always be with me. But I didn't think because I would settle down and get married and have a house in the suburbs that I would quit liking that music.
Ask her friends about her, all early for time. Lucille, please come back where you belong. I've been good to you, baby. Please don't leave me
At the end of the 50s, I mean, it was pretty tumultuous being on the road, too. The big package tours that we would get on was, well, you had 15 to 20 acts, and you were playing to 100,000 people a night in these big Coliseum stadiums doing 3 songs, and then pandemonium. Now nobody could hear nothing. Everyone was screaming and yelling from the time it started to the time it ended.
You were saying yesterday you were friendly with Cochrane and Holly and that. Was there a sort of sense of camaraderie between the...
Oh yeah, it's like a
certainly.
fraternity, you know, like it's like being in a college fraternity. It was great.
Us against them,
Yeah.
always. Very few of those rock and roll people from our life, in fact, there's none that I can think of that ever wound up any control over anything they did. It wound up that a publishing company had control of what was being released, and we disagreed with that entirely. And anybody, this day in the stage of the business, say if your publishing company controls your releases, they're going to want their songs to be released. And so artistic freedom, it's come down to that. We had to have it, and we got it by saying. But in the process, of course, all the people that we were dealing with had to go by the wayside in order for us to go ahead and pursue it, right or wrong, what we wanted to musically. Because rock and roll wasn't going to stay in that one spot. And let's face it, it didn't.
Don't want your love anymore. Don't want your kisses, that's for sure. I die each time I hear this sound. Here he comes, I've cast these clouds. When you see me shed a tear, and you know that it's sincere, don't you think it's kind of sad that you're treating me so bad, or don't you even care? Don't want your love anymore. Don't want your kisses, that's for sure. I die each time I hear this sound. Here he comes, that's Kathy's clown. That's Kathy's clown.
This is John Wayne. White cap and gloves. Blue tunic and white belt. Light blue trousers with a red stripe. This is the bold dress blue uniform of the United States Marine. Whether he earns his dress blues as an honor man at boot camp or acquires them later in his career, a Marine wears them with deep pride. Being a Marine is like being a part of the nation's history.
I had thought this through, and I said, you know, the Marines sound like death to me, you know. And Donald had said, yeah, but, and he did say this. He said, yeah, but you know, they got those, he said shiny helmets too, which I never saw a shiny helmet in the time, you know. And so one thing led to another, and we wound up in that, you know.
But the Marine there's an esprit de corps connected with it. It was great training. It was something that actually, I think, all in all, helped us in a period of time in our life that maybe could have been more difficult. But I think it was good. I'll tell you how tough it was as far as discipline. We didn't even speak for the first week, 2 weeks that we were together. We stood side by side for 2 weeks, and we did not have time to speak. Once you get through that, and everybody that gets through it is proud to put that uniform on from then on. Because you meet somebody with that uniform on, you'll say, "There's a Marine."
And if he knows
And
you're
I've
a
met
Marine,
so many people since then. If you're a Marine, it's that
instantly
instant
they know what you've
camaraderie.
done.
But Phil, you were scratching off each day. As each day went, you would be writing it off. Or you'd have.
Yeah, I
it on
would.
the
I would
calendar, suppose.
cross
Yeah,
it off.
and when he'd do that, I'd check it, you know. I wanted to know to how many, you know.